everyone, thank you so much for coming out today and spending part of your Saturday with us here at the Center for Advanced Energy Therapeutics. I'm so glad to see you all. The cell phone nanny will be back out there, so at the end you can go ahead and grab it. And so I'm Tiffany Bastido. I'm the owner and founder of Accelerated Joyworks, where ordinary and extraordinary become one. So today we're here to talk about playfulness and how playfulness can change your relationships and how it can create a super cool foundation to a healthy relationship. So I want to ask to do a little housekeeping first before we get started. The first is I do have a video going at the moment, but I promise nobody's heads will be in it. The other two is that, no, I won't cut your head off, I promise. The other as well is just as a thank you for coming down on your Saturday and spending some time with us, I would like to offer you a $20 savings on any initial consult that you might spend with us and get a start on your playfulness journey, either with your friend or your partner or your spouse. Because today's talk can be not just about your romantic partners, but it can also be friends and co-workers, which we will find out all about, and anybody else that you have a relationship with, including yourself actually. So that leads into my question, which is, when was the last time you played? You know how kids play? When was the last time you played and had fun?
Right now. Well, that went off the rails.
Didn't expect that now, did you? Okay.
Wow.
So, I think I took him shooting.
Yeah.
All right. So other than now, let's fix the poor teddy bear that I broke.
You killed Bruno.
I killed Bruno.
It is Bruno, I'm glad you knew. Okay.
Oh, look at it. Now he's all sad.
He's wounded.
I know.
That's because Jesus probably hit him.
Yeah.
So, which is also part of playfulness. So, when was the last time that you actually played like a child? Or goofed around, or were silly? Every day?
You know me, it
This
is.
morning.
This morning?
Yeah.
Dawn is right now,
He's always.
and he's stealing your things. Great, so you're all kind of getting into the spirit of it. Now, playfulness can really, really change your relationships. The cool thing about playfulness is everybody's different. Everybody's sense of playfulness is different. So there's a super cool researcher out there that nobody's ever heard of. He's super cool because he did a really interesting, to me, study. He spent 30 years researching 39 different ways that playfulness impacts people across 15,000 people. And what he discovered in all of these studies was that not only is a sense of humor in any relationship important, it's also meeting and matching with a partner or a friend or sibling that you have a similar sense of humor with. So let me ask you this. Who here has a romantic relationship going on? Okay, and who here has some friendship sibling things going on? Just friendships or, okay. So within those relationships, tell me something that you find that is similar, that you have in common, a common ground of silliness or playfulness. Wow, crickets.
I would say our humor is pretty similar to
Pretty
each
similar?
other.
Okay.
So we can laugh at like the same type of jokes and like have the same type of punchlines.
Same punchlines? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not in a romantic relationship presently, but in my main, 30-year relationship, the two of us were insanely into practical jokes.
Okay.
And it was funny, and I'd been in other relationships where they didn't think it was very funny.
But you two found it similarly funny.
yeah, and they were good. They were just fabulous. Some a little embarrassing, but yeah. When they got out to the public.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When are you giving a talk on that?
I really do the talks, but maybe I will.
So the interesting thing is, we've all been laughing a little bit. So does everybody feel different compared to when you first came in?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the interesting thing about play is that if you have a partner or a friend that you have a similar sense of humor or similar punchline, or you both enjoy practical jokes and things like that, they create this sense of lightness. You're all feeling a little more light than when you first came in. Okay, so hormones play a role in playfulness. So do y'all remember at the very beginning of your relationships, the very start of any relationship with someone new, and this means friends too, you had this sense of like, wow, this is really cool. This person gets me. You had this pleasure reward thing going on. You have the, wow, okay, so that's your dopamine. Your dopamine is the pleasure reward center, and that's where a lot of your relationships start, where it's like, oh, he's kind of cute. She's kind of nice. Cool. You don't want to be my sister. So you've got a little further along, you've got oxytocin. Oxytocin's the bonding hormone. It also comes from chocolate, which is why a lot of people like chocolate. But, hence if you grabbed any out there, we've bonded now. Bonded. But the bonding hormone comes from cuddling, from hugging, things like this. But also, as you're getting to know this person, and the little touches, this is also part of being playful and flirty. And it releases oxytocin, which bonds you closer together. The start of a relationship, you also have a little bit of excitatory, like, oh, I got a text, I got a call, oh my gosh, right? Or after a first date or something like that. And if you don't have this, just book a session. We'll talk. We'll talk. So that's your cortisol. Now, nowadays cortisol can get a bit of a bum rap because it can have a lot to do with disorder or disease or something like that within the body. Cortisol's not a bad guy. It's the one that makes your heart beat a little quicker when you see them and catch your breath when she looks really great in a dress or something. This is the beginning stages of a relationship. It's the playfulness at the very start. It doesn't look like our gun game, but it could. You never know. But all the hormones are the same. So as time goes by, and you get into the doldrums of your day, maybe you have kids, work happens, things happen. How do you recapture that sense of newness? And it's play. And so I think you're out of ammo, huh? You have one left. He's gonna get me at some point. He's gonna get me at some point. So he is a smart guy. He's a smart guy. So the cool thing about play is later in a relationship, like he saved a bullet for me. If later on in the relationship, once the relationship isn't quite as new, play makes a huge difference in how you live your life. So how many of you have had conflict in your relationships? If I don't see all of your hands come up, then you really need to book a session because there's conflict everywhere. It can be the little teeniest thing, and it could be like, okay, so one of my favorites is, Amanda got the magic 8 ball. So, shake it up and answer my question. Here's conflict number 1. Does my butt look big in this?
Oh.
Outlook not
There's a line.
It's big. So if you ask your honey, does my butt look big in this? That could start World War III, right?
I think he doesn't want to tell you.
But if you have something as simple, it's a smart 8 ball.
There's no good answer.
Cannot predict now.
Cannot predict. Okay. So if you have some sort of conflict going on and you have a foundation of play set in your relationship, that does my butt look big in this can go many different fun ways, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so there's the start of World War III. Or, outlook not good. You can giggle and laugh about it. It could be simple questions. It doesn't have to be like that trap question that sometimes happens. But these are the things that help bring play back into your life. and bring those hormones back in. Play throughout your relationships and throughout any from start to end of a relationship. That will help to create a foundation of dealing with problems and stressors a lot better. And so, like you said, a lot of everybody in here has had conflict before, right? Well, you've had communication challenges. One of my favorite things is at work. Some people know I'm a nurse at the VA hospital, and I've recently changed my location of where I work. And people will come in and they will say to me, "Can you make me a copy?" Poof, you're a copy with a magic wand. Poof, I'm a copy now. Can I have a copy of my immunization records? Outlook not good. Because they ask goofy questions all day long. Well, we're just playing. And we're playing at work because things happen. And things at the hospital can get kind of stressful, just like they can in a relationship. Yes?
Do you use the 8-ball like that?
Yes, I do.
How do people like it?
It depends on their sense of humor, if we meet and match on our sense of humor. It usually doesn't work with the doctors. Usually does not work with the doctors. So, what can happen is if you're with somebody that doesn't have a similar sense of humor, then you might not jive really well. But usually most people are going to pick somebody that has a somewhat similar sense of humor. And you can create this level of play that brings back that sense of newness and wonder from the beginning of a relationship. And that helps you to de-stress things. It helps you to become more resilient. And so there's a lot of benefits of how play can change a relationship. So does anybody here bring goofiness and silliness into the relationships besides me? How do you do that? Well, weren't we just talking about something you want to share with class?
Well, at first I thought I wasn't staying for this, so I said, "I'm sorry, I can't stay. I'm just going to go home and hit her with a pillow." She's napping right now.
Yeah. So pillow
Outlook
fights.
not good.
Outlook not good. Pillow fights are huge. They're just silly. They remind you of childhood. They bring a sense of wonder back in. What else do you guys do?
Tickling.
Tickling? Okay.
Oh, I hate that.
I know.
I hate it too.
Yeah. That's World War III in my house. Especially if you go for my feet. Outlook not good.
Depends on the person.
Yeah. What else? What other ways?
Try to think of many ways.
The many ways? How about, let's see. Does anybody thumb wrestle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. How about, you don't have to have Nerf guns and you don't have to have the magic 8-ball or the magic wand, but there's tickling. Who was here for the gender polarity talk? A couple people, I think. One of the things is chase each other around the house. Just for the heck of it. Yeah.
I'd say just feeling comfortable being goofy around each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just totally feeling comfortable. So why, besides helping with things like conflict resolution and resiliency and things like that, what do you think happens to the body when you laugh?
More oxygen.
Right? What else?
Becomes more relaxed.
Mm-hmm. It does. And so the rest and relaxation response and the oxygen response are going to help boost your endocrine system, your cardiovascular system, your neurological system. And the cool thing is your immune system, and who can't use more of that going into cold and flu season, right? So these are just the many ways that this can really truly impact your life. So what ways can you see yourself being fun, playful, silly?
Playing one-on-one basketball.
Sure, yeah, if that's, because everybody has their own thing. For me, not so much. I'd rather do the gun thing. But yeah, that works, right? Because you've got things that are similar for you.
What is it? I didn't hear.
One-on-one basketball.
Oh.
And the reason why I like that idea, that's especially cool, is because when you create competition, you create stress reduction. Especially if you are talking about men, because competition in men creates more testosterone. And so that's the hormone that relaxes guys more than girls. But at the same time, you're touching and you're running into people, and so you're also creating, in a strange way, in a really super cool way, oxytocin.
Yeah.
So if you can play and reduce your stress and create more oxygen in your body, then everything else improves. So how do you think your relationship improves if you create more play?
We bond and you create memories together.
Yeah.
Like we when that Deadpool Monopoly came out, we got it and my husband kicked my butt. I am not kidding. He literally had all the money and he had all of it. And so we took pictures and like we revisit those pictures every once in a while.
Yeah.
And then, there's playful teasing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Fun and laughter is going to bond you closer together, especially if it's things that you find similarly funny. Fun is, I would argue, as equally important as food, sleep, and sex in a relationship. If you're not having fun, are you taking things like way too seriously? Mm-hmm. And if you're taking things way too seriously in your relationship, snoozeville. Mm-hmm. Seriously, outlook not good.
So does that mean if you're lacking in one, that you should maybe up it somewhere else? Like,
Well, if
let's
I'm
say
hungry,
you
I
don't
eat.
get a lot of that sexual side, let's say. Should you play more to kind of like compensate?
Well, the cool thing is that the more that you play, the more you're going to create emotional intimacy. And the more emotional intimacy you create, a lot of times the more vulnerability you create. And you can feel a little more physically, the desire for physical intimacy more. Because you're also reducing stress. So the more you reduce stress, the stress of your day goes away. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Because one of the things I hear from my gals a lot is, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm working, I'm tired, I don't want to, I have my mind on too many other things. That's really common with women. There is a gender stereotype for that, and I do know I'm generalizing, but that is a stereotype. And the more that you can play and take yourself less seriously, you are far more vulnerable, you can interact more and connect more, and then as a result, vulnerability and emotional intimacy increase, and the desire may increase as well. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Did that answer your question?
Totally.
Just say eat more and sleep more.
You can do that too, but you do need to,
Yeah.
self-care is huge. Self-care is really huge.
Massage.
Yeah. So the benefits, like I said, we already talked about neurological, cardiovascular, brain health, things like that. Play is huge in creating relational security and bonding. So if you can't have fun with somebody, you're going to go look for fun elsewhere. And that is not a euphemism for something. I'm being straight up serious. If you can't have fun with your partner, you're going to want to go hang out with your girlfriends. Or you're going to want to go play golf ball with the guys or something, because at home, it's too serious. I mean, if I can't crack a joke in my own home, y'all, no, I can't. So, tell me some more examples, because I have tons to share and you're all going to get tired of hearing me talk. But what are some examples that you guys have had in your lives, in your relationships, of play?
We got a video game together.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Video games,
I was gonna say playing with the dogs.
yeah. Yeah. What else? You've got to have a story or two. Come on. No? No? Okay. All right. Well, how about try this one on for size? So the Nerf guns came from something I saw on Facebook a long time ago that talked about how there was a picture of a front door, and I'm sure a lot of you may have seen this actually. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say. There's a picture of a front door and a handwritten sign out front that says, "Loser makes dinner, I'm hiding inside." And you put the Nerf gun next to it. We so do that in my house.
That's cute.
We so do that. And so we'll chase each other around the house with the Nerf guns, or, and whoever loses makes dinner. Or, you know, if you're goofing around and you're playing and, you know, maybe you get a little bit more intimately playful, you can always just like run and see if they follow. Trust me, they'll follow. You know, that's the whole gender polarity thing, right? Is women like to run and men like to chase. Again, with the stereotype, but still has a basis in truth. So, some of the stories of things that I love is, I'm gonna totally out my partner and myself right now. And recently, my air conditioner in the middle of July busted. So much not fun. And I'm flipping out because, come on, it's an air conditioner and it's old and it could be really expensive. And I'm just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this could be like thousands of dollars, holy cow. Completely flipping myself out. And when the repairman comes, and if you need a really great AC guy, let me know, this guy was amazing. He came out and tells Zach what it is, and it's no big deal, it's not gonna cost a lot of money. Zach comes in and tells me, it's the capacitor. My air conditioner has a capacitor? What the hell's a capacitor? And all of a sudden, the stress in my brain,
That's always a joke.
right?
Capacitor.
Yeah, so my brain suddenly goes, oh, thank God it's not gonna be thousands of dollars. But my mouth says, it's the capacitor? The flux capacitor? Is it really the flux capacitor? It's the flux capacitor. Oh my God. Are we gonna have to start up the DeLorean? Are we gonna need like to run up the flagpole or whatever it was on top of the dome and attack, you know? Please tell me y'all have seen Back to the Future and know what I'm talking about. Some of you are too young, but please. And it turned into this huge thing about a flux capacitor, right? But it de-stressed me. And I just had the opportunity to chill out. And I felt so much better. And luckily, we were able to connect on that level. And the typical response from him that you would probably see from your partner as well is, oh my God, I love you so much. Because it was the similar thing we were goofing off about. So when you have similar things like that, you can play off of each other. So the guns and the games and things like that. So another story, and I will totally out us again because I think it's funny, is he had to go on a trip a year or 2 years ago, and he was driving to Las Vegas. And he turned the GPS on his phone so I would know where he was, just in case I got worried or something like that. So he gets to Las Vegas, calls me, yeah, I'm here, checked into the room, it's all good, I'm gonna go grab something to eat. Okay, cool. And I'm here at work, and I'm just thinking, wonder where he went to eat. It's Vegas, good food. Wonder where he went to eat. So I open up the GPS on my phone, just to see where did the man go and eat. Only to see he's at a strip club. What? I didn't know they had food there. I know they have alcohol there and G-strings and things like that, but they have food there? And then about 2 seconds later it refreshes and shows him at one of the casinos. And I'm thinking, oh my God. But it became a thing. So he called me later to tell me how dinner was, and I'm like, really? Dinner? Dinner? How's the lap dance? How did the lap dance go? Did you get the tassels in your face? Are you all covered in glitter now? Let me tell you something. That had some mileage, right? So now, fast forward to 6 months ago, and he comes home covered in glitter. Like, where did you go that you have glitter? You went to the strip club again, didn't you? And you didn't tell me. Didn't you? He's like, no, my work wife made me do the bathroom floor with glitter. But still, that could have been like, really? I'm washing all this glitter off everywhere. You know, it could be a thing. But if you make it playful, it could, you know, and I do not recommend stalking. It is never okay to stalk. It has, however, become a goofy thing in my relationship where if I come bestie for a while, and I say, yeah, I'll probably be home around this time, and it's like 2 hours later because we're having so much fun. And I'll text him and say, I'm on my way home, sorry I'm late. And commonly I'll get back the little emoji that blows me a kiss, but it's the 2 little eyeballs that are kind of going like the side eye. And so I know, he knows where I was, he stalked me because the GPS is on. That is an appropriate use of your GPS on your cell phones. If you're legit stalking somebody, book an appointment. Seriously, it's not okay. So let's talk about how being playful can really truly change your relationship. Because we've kind of touched on it a little bit here and there. But one of the things that it can really do is create resiliency. And it can help you to deal with conflict on a much more fun level, as we've talked about, as we can see. So wouldn't resiliency be kind of awesome? I mean, think about you've had a really rough situation happen and don't really know how to deal with it. But if you have a foundation of fun, then you're going to play more on the whole, and you're probably going to bounce back a little quicker. Has that happened for anybody? Yeah, shaking heads, yes, yeah. I know it has for me. The flux capacitor was a perfect example. I'm flipping out thinking that my AC is going to be a ton of money, and Esteban goes, no, it's only $125. Awesome. And like I said, if you need a guide, I got a hookup. Actually, Mega's got the hookup. I borrowed him from her. So conflict, though, is another thing. Conflict will become less. You're still going to have it, because everybody has conflict. You're going to argue or disagree about something. But wouldn't it be so much more cool if you hacked it out with the Nerf guns instead of with each other? You know, whoever wins the Nerf gun fight wins this argument. That's where we're going for dinner. Whoever wins, right? Or whoever makes dinner, or whichever. Let me tell you, it's a lot of fun to put that Nerf gun outside, go in the house and hide. Maybe move some of the furniture so you got places to hide. It's a lot of fun. Really does change the relationship too. You connect a lot more. So some of the other super cool benefits is that you are able to connect easier. Your walls come down sooner. You form friendships that are more deep, and especially right off from the start, because you're being vulnerable, you're being yourself, you're being exactly who you are, and you're showing these people your wide open heart, and you're goofing around and you're playing. When I switched jobs at the VA recently, I went from taking care of my veterans to taking care of some of the employees, which is actually kind of cool. But one of the things that I found out was I got the job because, in their words, you're my kind of demented. Obviously, that's who I borrowed the wand and the 8-ball from, was my coworkers, because they're the ones who taught me, poof, you're a copy, right? So they're my kind of demented too, and we can have fun and play, and we're really close in a really short period of time now, because we showed each other who we are. Andrea and I here at the center goof around. Andrea has the opportunity to do that with all of us. We all goof around. I don't know if anybody's Facebook friends with people here at the center, but do you all remember from a long time ago Horatio the orange? Oh, the grapefruit. Yeah, Horatio the grapefruit. That's us playing here at the center. We're coworkers, we're family, we're friends.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Do not be taking credit for that, because that was
Exactly.
us. It's
That's
what
you guys
you all
playing.
thought we were. Wacky.
No, I didn't. I thought it was cute. But that's one of the super cool ways that we get to play here at the center. And because we're family, it brings us closer. But some of the side benefits of playing like that is it increases your positive feelings. When you increase positive feelings, you decrease stress and negative ones. And so, okay, here comes the bonding hormones again, right? And so by increasing the positive, and it's like the home play that I give my couples that are kind of at each other's throats a little bit. If it's that you're constantly looking for the negative in each other, that's what you're going to find. Well, if you start looking for the positive, that's what you're going to find. So the more you play and increase positive feelings, that's what you're going to always be doing. It also will make it, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it reminds me of one of your talks where you were talking about filling up the love tank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because when you fill up your play tank, you've got a lot more to draw from. You're not going to have, it's like your self-care tank too. You're not going to have as much of a reaction to stress as you could. So some of the other super cool things is kind of Andrea's what she mentioned earlier, is you can have a deeper, more connected physical intimacy with your partner as well. So has anybody ever laughed like right in the middle?
John and I done that.
Okay.
We're
Totally. That really, really, really brings you closer.
Looked over and saw myself in the mirror.
You gotta take those mirrors down off the ceiling, Don. Yeah, if you can laugh at yourself in the middle of physical intimacy, you can certainly laugh at yourself in the middle of an argument. Right? Yes.
Rick and I are constantly, we get into these things, and in the middle of it, we both would just start breaking out laughing. I remember my daughter and I said, "Oh my gosh, they even laugh the same," because we were so ridiculous. We'd look at each other and we would just start laughing. Yeah, it helps.
It does. And has anybody experienced how play and fun and laughter can heal an emotional wound? Who here goes to the Living in Abundance retreats? Yeah, all of these retreats help through play and fun and laughter. And Billy, it helps you to heal emotional wounds. Now think about it. Not to bring a downer, but this is the realities. What if you're someone who's been assaulted in a not so nice way? And you create a foundation of play with your current partner, and it starts healing emotional wounds from the past. You can actually get to a point where maybe the physical intimacy doesn't necessarily remind you as badly of the assault, because you've brought light and laughter into the situation. You please try and see if you can hurt somebody's feelings while you are like actively tickling them and laughing and hysterical and crying and laughter. If she ever comes, don't tell her that I said it's okay to tickle. I don't, no. There's a lot that I'll let you blame on me, but that's not one of them. So it can also help you to create a more positive way of communicating. If you think about it, if you're giggling and laughing, you're gonna really have to try and figure out a way to communicate between the gasping, laughing. And so finding easier ways of communicating, and it can become a lot more positive too. If you're trying to communicate something more difficult to me and I don't get it, I'm just gonna sit there and go, what? And then you can explain it to me again, and maybe I'll get it. I mean, my 5th grade math teacher tried like a lot to help me with fractions. Still didn't stick. Nursing math, sure. Fractions? No. So it helps with more positive communication, and it helps you to understand things on a deeper level. What are some of the other things that you can think of, since I've been talking about it for a little bit? Did it trigger anything for you that yeah?
A really fun memory kind of came up for me as you were talking. There was a point, say maybe a year ago, where I was just really angry, and I wanted to be angry, and I was just like in one of those, and he just stops and he goes, and he puts music on and he just starts dancing with me, and I'm like, no, I'm really serious right now, I'm really angry. He's like, yeah, it's fine, I'm listening, let's just dance. And by the end of it, I didn't even know what I was mad about.
Yep, see, that's a perfect example. That is a perfect, I love you so much. You're perfect.
That's my future son-in-law.
Exactly, yes.
Just want to say.
That is a perfect, yeah, you won the wand.
He got the wand.
That's a perfect example of how playfulness can totally transform a negative into a positive. And if you can do that often enough and a lot, things are going to completely change in your relationship. And play and fun will be the order of the day instead of stress and strife. And you know what? The thing is that it's still going to happen. Stress and strife and conflict and all these things are still going to happen. But can you see how, now that we've been talking for a little bit, how these things can really improve the way you handle them, or how things get resolved? If you resolve them with a Nerf gun, let me know. Take pictures, post a picture like I did this morning. It could be a lot of fun. So Let's talk about now some of the ways that you can be playful. What are some of the ways besides dancing and pillow fighting that you can be playful? What jives with you and your partner, do you think? Movie quotes are for me. Being goofy with movie quotes. Yeah.
As awful as this is,
Oh, I'm
about-
excited now.
well, you've been part of this. It's about scaring each other.
Oh, yes.
Because
Yes.
I would pick up
Yeah.
my grandkids from school, I'd be in line, I call Tiffany, I say, okay, I'm in line, I'm waiting, and I've got on the phone, I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and I'm, you know, and I'm all ready, you know, and everything, and they still get me. They still get me. I go into the, you know, and we're constantly doing this, and some people think it's very sick, but it's like, oh, you know, it's like, and we just laugh no matter where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're used to creating that sort of foundation, when you don't have it, you notice it. Because when the kids went on summer break and my phone didn't ring between 3 and 3:15 in the afternoon, it felt like something was missing.
And I yelled in her ear because I think I'm so on it. I can see him. I go, okay, I'm acting like I can't see him. I'm on the phone. I'm doing this, and there's 2 of them, you know. And
Yep.
and then I go, ah, you know?
And I'm working on the unit at the time, so I've got earbuds in. So earlier I mentioned thumb wrestling. That's a thing that we've done in the past. You know, just like, yeah. And the thing is that he's a guy, his thumbs are bigger. They're stronger.
know,
He
it's
works
not
with his
fair.
hands. It's not fair.
I figured out some tricks, I'll teach you. Tell me.
Okay. So dancing, thumb wrestling, pillow fighting, playing practical jokes. What are some other things?
I think you can go out and play like by going out in nature and exploring.
You can make a game out of
Doing something you
anything.
haven't done before together.
Yeah. When I was a kid, snowball fights. I'm from back east. Snowball fights. Huge. You know, find an acorn, beat him in the back of the head with it. You don't know what snow is?
Snowball fight.
Snow, frozen. Chuck an ice cube at somebody, you'll figure it out.
Rock fights.
Rock fights.
I'm not.
Pulling the choya out of somebody.
That's
It's a fort.
That is intimidating.
Yeah, that is. It can be.
So scary.
Yeah. So let's see. What are some of the other things?
If you're swimming, splashing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
like, or flipping someone, have them flip you.
Yep. Dunking. Just have somebody dunk you under.
Oh.
No.
No. Outlook not good.
Or just shove somebody in the pool. You know.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
We've tried each other's hobbies before. Like I've done a skincare mask on him. That was really fun.
I've seen the photographic evidence of this.
Positively
So-
glowing.
He was.
Yeah. 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 Definitely. Let's see. What else have we done?
I'm a purveyor of just bad jokes.
Bad jokes?
Yeah, dad
Okay.
jokes. They call them dad jokes now, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I grew up with a fireman who told jokes about literally everything. And if you couldn't hack it, they didn't like you. Had your own nickname and everything. You know. So play was learned early on. So let's see. What are some of the other things? What do you think of that you could do that's like your partner? That's very childlike. Pool, hanging out. Some of my favorite things, of course, are joking around, goofing, you know, talking about, like I said, bad movie jokes.
Singing, I know this might sound strange, but yeah, I take my grandkids to school on Mondays and Tuesdays, and sometimes other days, and we get in the car for Monday morning. Y'all, people that know me well. Billy Currington, Love Done Gone, and we sing it all the way on repeat, and by the time they get to school, they are ready. You know, because they're in the car going, yeah. And you know, and we're like, well, I'm tone deaf. I won't say that they are, but anyway, it's, you know, it is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to do is run up and pull his shorts down.
But you know what? That could start something.
I
Visual. That's a
I do it
visual.
all the time to the point where it's probably not so fun anymore.
Well, let's see, and that actually brings up more stuff from that gender polarity talk that we talked about. Because if you've seen some couples in the past, not everybody's into the gross public displays of affection. But sometimes you'll see some of the couples that are just casually walking. Keep on going. Or you can pinch the fanny a little bit or something like that. Little teeny things like that are goofy, yeah. One of my things is we'll be snuggling and his face will be like right here and I'll just poke him on the nose and he goes, meh. It's just a thing, or I'll pull on his ears or pull on his beard, or it's just a thing. And I have permission to talk about this, I swear I asked. There's little things like that you can just be goofy, be silly. We've talked singing, dancing. What about flirting?
She doesn't like it when I flirt with other women.
This is true. No, you need to flirt with her.
Oh.
I think that's the part that you're missing from that picture. Yeah. Make sure you flirt with the right one.
My father-in-law and I smack each other in the back of the head.
Wow, I feel like I'm in an NCIS novel right now.
Yeah.
Or episode right now.
It's,
Yeah.
just randomly walk up to each other and just randomly whack.
But see, that's a way to be playful. There's all
probably
sorts
deserve
of
it.
stuff. Let's see, thumb wrestling I think was one of my favorites as a kid, and Zach and I do it now, and I always lose. How about creating a playtime ritual? Like kids have recess. At least I think they still do. Did that go away the same way that cursive writing did? I mean, do we still have recess?
They're voting on it, I'm not sure.
Huh?
They're voting on it.
They're voting on, oh, I didn't need to know that.
real?
Okay,
Yeah.
in my day and age, kids had recess. Wow, I feel old now. And so when they were out and they were in recess, they were having a blast. So creating a playtime ritual within your relationship is something that you can do as well. Do you have a Friday night date night? What are some things that you both enjoy to do that are fun and that are silly that you can do? They don't have to be scheduled, but you can create a playtime ritual. Like a lot of my couples that work with me, they have connection corner or a date night thing going on. And, creating this ritual and infusing the play into the relationship throughout time, throughout your days, can really change the relationship. There's all sorts of things that you can do. Now, if you have kids, nothing is more fun than piling down on dad. Right? Or maybe hiding mom's favorite lipstick, but not before she goes to work. Don't do that. She'll flip her lid. So friendships, also, leaving each other little love notes with your partner, but you can do the same thing with your friends. I came out one day to my car, and my best friend left me the best thing ever. It was these hand-cut out little hearts. They got smaller and smaller. They were taped to my window of my car, and I was having a really rough time. It was the best thing ever. Best thing ever. And then one day I was seeing a massage therapist here, and of course that means my shoes were over here by the desk, and I was in with my massage therapist. And I came out to go put my shoes back on, and there were hearts on Post-it notes in each of my shoes.
Aww.
Those lived in my wallet until they fell apart.
Oh, that's cute.
Because they're meaningful. These are small little ways that play can be involved. They're on my desk now. Because they don't fit in my wallet anymore. So love notes. If you know each other's love language, how many knows each other's love languages? They're not the be all and the end all, but they play a part. And you can be playful with those. Mine, of course, is words of affirmation and physical touch. So when I'm the one that receives the little fanny pack, I'm like, woohoo, okay. Right? Luckily, Zach's a physical touch person too, so it's just as cute when I pull his beard, I hope. And words of affirmation, those little notes mean a lot. And so then what about simple little things like, Andrea and I did it earlier. Just to be goofy. Now, it can't be in response to something, because that actually brings up a point I did want to talk with you all about, and we have a little bit left to talk about it. There's a difference between and crossing the line. Everybody has a line. And you need to know where your line is at, because if you cross it, if you cross your partner's line, there can be hurt feelings. And so knowing what some people's like trigger topics are, or like, I'm with Scott, don't tickle me. No, outlook not good. You know, so for tickling, that's a no-fly for me. What do you think some of yours might be?
I have, from like my girlfriend, she's, how do I say this? Like, if it's a joke or something that is intellectual and might, like, sometimes if I can't do something that's too intellectual, or a joke that might be hard to understand, or and it's not that she's not smart or anything. That's her thing. She doesn't want, like, I know that her line is, if I do something and she doesn't get it, that then she gets frustrated, and it's not fun for her. So I know I have to be careful with my playfulness in that area.
Yeah, like for me, I'm not a huge fan of slapstick humor. Jim Carrey and I, we don't get along. But I love the Three Stooges. Don't get it. So in this instance, knowing what your partner's limits might be is kind of important, you know? Like, if you put a Jim Carrey movie on in the house, I'll probably leave the room. You know, it's just my thing. Just my thing. So dry sense of humor. Some people are like intellectual jokes, others don't. I'm so used to not discussing politics at the hospital that I just don't do it in my relationships. So that's kind of like a hard line between my dad and I. We voted for two different people for the first time in my entire life, and I was just like, I don't know how many jokes to tell him. Oops, this could be bad. So knowing where that hard line is, because there can be things like poking fun, you know, like poking fun about the strippers, poking fun about it, and the glitter and the tassels and the lap dances and all of that. But what if there was a line there somewhere? Kind of got to know what your partner's lines are and not cross them, because you can cross the line from fun poking fun into mean, dirty, nasty poking fun. And it's all in play, but really it's not.
Well, that example reminds me of how important it is to understand each other's humor, especially if you don't have the same humor.
Yeah.
Because you could come in. Yeah. You can come in with the idea of like that you're just poking fun at it, and he can think that you're actually accusing him.
Yes.
So
that's hugely important.
It's really different.
It really is, because, you know, it's kind of like the joke of, is this make my butt look big? Because a lot of times women are sincerely asking that question because they either need validation or they're not sure or something. And in all honesty, if you were to answer, don't do this, yes, you might feel more comfortable in this other pair, you know, then you're joking around, she takes you seriously. World War III outlook not good. You know, so understanding each other's humor and knowing where that could possibly blow something up. There's a lot of different triggers that happen, and if you are in the start of a new relationship or in the start of a new friendship, err on the side of caution and be vulnerable. You know, be really vulnerable and open, and if somebody crosses your line, let everybody know, because otherwise they're going to keep doing it and you're letting them. So I would like to invite you all to create more play and invite more play into your relationships. So what do you think you'd like to start with?
Dancing.
Okay.
Pantsing.
Pantsing.
It's fun, try it.
Make sure you pants the right one though, Dawn.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, make sure you pants the right one.
I think that I'm solid with my play.
You think?
I don't think I need to
No.
push the envelope anymore, anyone that knows me.
Yeah, you're close to the edge.
Yeah.
I
I know. But I'm very good at it.
Yeah, you are.
You know, I'm very sincere and I know where those lines are with people, so.
I would like for some of you to start trying to create some inside jokes with your partner, with your friends. Inside jokes are a lot of fun. You know, we have a lot that we talk about, like, there's, we are, in my relationship, we like some sci-fi. And so there's a lot of just goofy jokes around sci-fi shows that we enjoy. Or, like, you know, like the flux capacitor joke. So create some inside jokes. Like the massive inside joke for us is the stripper. The stripper in the stocking. That's huge for us. But think about some of the ways that you guys can have an inside joke, because that really creates deep emotional intimacy as well. And the more play and the more fun that you can create, again, the more reducing your stress, the resiliency, better communicating. And when something mean, big, and nasty comes along, you can actually navigate it easier. And as a partnership and as a team. Instead of doing the he said, she said, or one-upping each other, or trying to figure out who's gonna win this argument. If you wanna win an argument, go play a Nerf gun fight. It'll really help you to de-stress, come back later, and actually be able to sit down and have a conversation about it and not be at each other and actually figure it out. And so don't take life too seriously. Play a lot. And then tell me about it. Questions? Want to make sure something's funny and permissible and you're doing it to the right person? Or
I was just thinking about like inside jokes, and you know, you might have a lot of them. So, okay, so I'll just say, like my husband and I have a lot of inside jokes, and sometimes he'll like overdo it out in public with them, and I start to feel uncomfortable, like, I don't know, it just feels weird when people, you know, you're in a group and they don't understand the inside jokes and your husband's like overdoing it. So then maybe I start kind of like, okay, you're a weirdo. That can have the opposite effect.
it can,
So I just didn't
and
know.
that's definitely a conversation to have. It's kind of like boundaries. What you allow is what will continue. And so if you're not comfortable with it, you know, inside jokes can be just that, inside, between the two of you. And to a certain degree, you can kind of do the little poke fun where you're like, you know, you know, between the two of us. But the minute it gets more than just the two of you and you're feeling uncomfortable, that's definitely, I think, you know, just a conversation not in the moment. A little later.
Well, that's the line.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It is,
yeah.
that's the
The
line.
appropriateness in the line.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't mind gentle PDA, public displays of affection. You know, if you're gonna pat my fanny, don't do it where 1 billion people can see. You know, it should be real surreptitious where nobody can really see it. Because my line is, I'm classy. Most of the time. And, you know, most of the time.
In public.
In public. But my line, one of my lines is that, you know, my public persona is, I'm just really a classy person. And sometimes I cuss like a sailor, but not always. But I don't want too much of that type of attention in public. I believe, for me personally, I prefer that in private. And so too much of it is my line. And so I would have a conversation. So having a simple conversation, not in the moment, you know, just saying, you know, how would you feel if I, you know, something like that. Because yeah, knowing your lines is important, and what your lines are, you know. Like for me, slapstick humor, tickling, no. Make sense? Questions? No, I'm not gonna slap you on the fanny as you leave.
Oh, man.
I
Well,
thought
maybe
she
you.
said it.
Maybe you. All right, so your home,
We don't pump.
because you come on. So your home plate, should you choose to accept it, is to create some fun in your life with your partner, with your family, with your friends, your own personal brand of humor together, and come and share about it. Talk about it. Post it on the Facebook page or shoot me an email. Tell me what was happening and just share, because there's a lot of people that could benefit from learning how others are being playful.
So post it on your Facebook page?
Sure.
You know, I think a lot of people, they need to see that, they need to hear
Yeah.
that, because I think as we get older, people get embarrassed. They don't want to, you know, think that, you know, we're childish. There's a difference between childlike and childish.
Yeah.
And then, you know, because then when you get, you know, into the 6th decade of life, you don't care, and it's like, hey, you know. But yeah, I think people get
Yeah.
embarrassed, and they don't want people to think badly of them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and for a lot of people, they can't get out of their own way. And so like for me, for my public persona, while I may do something at home, I may not do it out in public. I don't want people at the hospital to necessarily know how childlike I can be. In my old job, it could not go over as well as it could in this job, because apparently I'm perfectly demented and I fit.
Don't you think that, you know, playfulness is contagious?
It is.
Some of you that were at the last retreat, you know, and there was a table, there were the people that were sitting with me. I mean, we were laughing like wet your pants type of laughter. And after the retreat, when they were answering questions, the thing that they didn't like the most was that they didn't get to sit at the laughing table.
Yeah.
And I
It
went
is
to the
contagious.
restaurant again and said, I don't know if I owe you an apology, because they said, oh no, please come back. Because everybody in the restaurant actually really was enjoying the fun. So it's
Yeah.
contagious.
It is, and because it's contagious, part of your home plate is to always be on the lookout for fun. Where can you find more of it, infuse more of it into every aspect of your life, and change all of your relationships? So, thank you for coming. I'm going to boot you out now because I'm so excited. Sarah's up next. So I'm gonna